All right, you guys, we are getting close to being done with the communication toolbox. And this is episode 6. So there's going to be a few sections or points to this episode like we've done previously. For today, we're going to start working on connecting some of the dots about conflict resolution and understanding conflict further. So I think what's really important for all of us to just acknowledge, obviously, is that we all have conflict in our life. And how we manage conflict is actually really us just trying to get a need met. Whether you're the type of person who might get more loud or vocal or even demanding, or you're the type of person who gets really silent or withdraws, avoids, we're really trying to find a way to get some sort of need met deep down inside of us. So again, I'm drawing from the Couple Survival Workbook, which was just an awesome resource that I really enjoyed using when I developed this curriculum. There's 6 communication styles that I'm just going to go over with you here. This builds on the communication strategies or structures that we looked at in episode 5 of the communication toolbox. So the first one is the rapid escalator. And so this is the type of person who really, when they're trying to get their need met, they're willing to really bring up the intensity of the conflict, and they might even do it quite quickly. So they're somebody who might just notice gets hot much more quickly than other people. So they get bigger and bigger emotionally, tone of voice, verbally, posture even. Often the initial issue gets lost and forgotten in the chaos. So this is the real risk, is sometimes when we are a rapid escalator, we can get so much more lost in the big feelings that show up much more quickly. Characteristics, this type of person might add on more issues, they're raising their voice, overheated emotions, not on topic, bring up history, grudges, bitterness, timelines, every unsettled issue ever, and a real intense type of dogpiling. So this is a theme that you notice. It's not just like a one-off of somebody tying back to some other issue. It's like gas on a fire. And then we have another category, the peacemaker. So this person is perpetually trying to smooth things over. They have difficulty with intensity, and they want things to end very quickly. So they are more interested in calming things down than they are in finding a solution. So this person isn't like trying to like reasonably come to some agreement. They're just like, let's get away from this. So characteristics: anxiety of conflict, minimizing the issue, desire for peace, cave in to make peace. So they'll forfeit their opinion. You might never actually hear this person actually say their opinion, and they just give up. Third, Mr. or Mrs. Fix It. So sometimes psychologists can be a little bit more prone to this in conflict strategies or other people helpers, not always, but there are certain people that really like to fix problems. This person has one goal: find the solution now. So they sort of get over focused and lost in, let's just figure out what we're going to do and move away from this uncomfortable emotion. This person is usually a gifted problem solver, but not necessarily a gifted listener. And after all, the solution is what is important. This person's like, if we can find the solution, then we're good. And when you're talking to somebody who's a real fixer, it's almost like you can see the wheels turning inside of their head. You know they're not thinking about or even listening necessarily to what you're talking about. They're formulating the strategy and the solution and their opinion of how we're going to correct the problem. Characteristics: always have a solution, or 10, anxious about conflict, inattentive to others' emotions, poor listener. Others can see the wheels turning in their head. So yeah. And then we talked about this last in episode 5, the dominant submissive relationship. So again, the dominant person is more assertive and forceful about their needs, while the submissive person appears to always be giving in. In the conflict, the submissive is going to give into the emotion or the negative tone of what's going on, but not necessarily be giving in outside of the conflict. Characteristics of the dominant: loud, powerful, assertive, forceful, seems to be in control of the relationship. Characteristics of the submissive: gives into the conflict demands, then becomes resentful, depressed, passive aggressive, gets the dominant person back. So the submissive might withhold sex or just like have a depressed presence. They're very withdrawn, do poor quality of work. They might do the tasks but do it in a way that there's a passive aggressive tone of however they're responding to doing the dishes or mowing the lawn, or sweeping the floor, paying the bills but not all the bills, something like that. Fifth category: seeker of objective reality. Sounds like a good one, right? So this person is really arguing about the details of the conflict. This is interesting, like lots of people do this. So we have a conflict and then we need to really dissect and look at all the little nuances and parts of that conflict and how it went wrong and who said what first and how that just got things off track. So they're going to be looking into who said what, at what time, where they were, and what did they actually mean. The issue is lost in trying to prove who said what, where, and what was meant. So we're not actually resolving anything or meeting the need, the unmet need inside of the person. We're just getting really lost in the details of what had happened. Characteristics of this type of person: stuck on the details, only interested in the story, and interpreting others' thoughts. The risk here is this person really can get into this bad habit of reading into what other people are thinking or feeling behind the words that they say. Okay, and the final one, the sixth one, is the conflict avoidant relationship. And John Gottman talks about this as the turn away stance. And what's really sad is that these people don't have a lot of burn and heat and intensity and that passion of the conflict, but they tend to have like a slower fizzle out, especially if it's too conflict avoidance. So that's the relationship piece where we're both just not going to go there. So these relationships are noted as having little conflict as possible. And because of the minimal amount of conflict, the relationship will only grow so far. One person is quick to snuff the conflict out. Maybe one person gets a little hot, the other person quickly snuffs it out, or vice versa. Characteristics: avoid controversy, they keep emotional distance, limited knowledge of the other person's opinions. All right, so these are all these, again, sort of different methods that we can see, typical features in conflict. And if you're like me, you can sort of notice different parts of yourself in more than one category. That's okay. Again, the purpose of looking at the conflict styles is to get a better sense of who we are in our communication stance. If you're watching this series with your partner, you can talk about who we are in our communication stances, how we see each other differently. Again, when we're talking about these styles, watch out. It's ground that we need to tread lightly, because talking about this stuff actually can trigger us into feeling badly about who we are, who our person is, or how our needs are going unmet. Okay, you guys, so there's going to be a few more points in this episode 6, so I'll see you in the next one. Bye.